So last August, Endgame Gear came out of nowhere and dropped their first mouse, the XM1. It had a really impressive shape and managed to lightweight without any kind of skeletal shell. No RGB, it was all business. It was a very strong and unique feeling outing, especially for a company's first mouse. It became like the sleeper hit mouse. It was really well received. It was only criticized for a few key opportunities. So now, they're back with a new colorway and a few revisions. We're gonna see what happens when a company listens and then responds. You ready? Let's go! Yo, I'm Brian P. You're watching BadSeed Tech, and today we're taking a look at the revised XM1 gaming mouse from Endgame Gear. Retailing for $59.99, the Endgame XM1 is available in two different colorways. We've got the white version with black accents here, and like the GPW Ghost we saw recently, it looks very clean. It's like a soft matte white. Really like it. I don't want to retread an entire mouse review here, as the OG XM1 still feels pretty fresh. I will link the original review up in the corner and down in the description. Now, I've used this mouse a lot since that review, and I've really come to appreciate the flexibility of this shape. With a hand measurement of 20.5 by 10.5 centimeters, I can use basically any grip I want here, and everything feels positioned really well. Thanks to the low front end and the wide rear flare, I can also get a predictably consistent grip every time without any thought. My issues with the first version were few. The coating showed a lot of oil, and the rubberized cable felt outdated, and in my mind pretty much required a bungee or a paracord, which I did almost immediately. So the coating's been adjusted a bit here. It's grippier, chalkier feeling. I like it. It would be interesting to see the new black version next to the original, because black always does a better job of masking oil. You can still see it if you hold it up at an angle, but I have to stress that you actually have to go looking for it. Problem addressed, looks and feels great. The rubberized cable has been replaced with a new stock paracord style, and I think we may have a new benchmark in flexible mouse cables. That's a bar set previously by the G-Wolves mice and the Cooler Master MM710. This beats those. It's hard to believe this is even legal to distribute, as it feels like there is no shielding at all. It's a feat of engineering, and credit where it's due, this is now the most flexible stock paracord option out there, and unless you're shooting for a specific aesthetic, I don't see any reason to replace this with a paracord. 2 for 2. I was also quick to replace the glides on the first mouse, because while the texture was nice, they felt like they were paper thin. So these two have been redone. They are thicker, only by 0.2 millimeters, so still not as thick as the Corepad skates I have on my personal copy, but that should really only be a concern in terms of long-term wear, because in terms of actual glide, again, I'm gonna say I don't see any advantage in replacing these feet. The stock feet here are white dyed and almost 100% pure PTFE, but they also offer an experimental set of milky white 100% PTFE feet, which is a super gross sounding color, but it's cool that they give you the option. Either set is pretty reasonably priced as well. Lastly, they have improved the side buttons, and it's very noticeable. Gone is any hint of mush. The front button now has barely any pre or post travel. The rear has a bit, tiny bit of pre-travel and virtually no post-travel. You almost don't realize the improvement right away until you go back to the original version, and then it's night and day. So they improved and addressed every issue I had with the original XM1, and I have to stress that that was nearly a perfect mouse for me. It's easy to forget that the build quality was solid, even though it came in with a weight of about 70 grams. The scroll wheel felt very solid, the switches felt really fast, and brought some new tech to the table. Some people had issues where they might get a mouse one click when they slam that mouse down. Now, I don't play like that, but I can confirm that when this mouse showed up, it did suffer from that. But after upgrading to the newest firmware, I didn't have that issue at all. It was perfectly solved, and all the performance testing for this mouse was done on the firmware 2.0. This is a lot of mouse for $59.99. Being 100 here, if I weren't so in love with running wireless right now, this would be my main. The only remote critique I have is that on big clicks, the body can sound hollow and a little loud, but I'm reaching for a criticism here. I'm honestly at a loss as to what I would do to improve this mouse. I think the XM1 represents arguably the most complete wired mouse on the market right now. It's dangerously close to being a perfect product, and I don't say that lightly. At $59.99, unless you know for a fact that this shape doesn't work for you, that sensei or Kana-like shape, and or those flagship wireless prices have you shaking your head, I would strongly encourage you to pick this up. Links down in the description. As always, any questions, hit me in the comments or drop by the Discord. And that's it for this time. I'm Brian P. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, and until next time, stay up.